Juliette once more. Juliette was with us already, 3, 4 years ago? I don't remember. Showing his drawings in exposition in Centro de Estoril, and it was really a pleasure to discover other side of Juliette Binoche. But let's start first. I invite Juliette to come here without any program, without any film, and we just, I think it's really a pleasure to talk with you, and that's why I really thanks for to be at the disposal of this audience and to talk about it. I'd like to, first of all, to start from the beginning, if you can start from the beginning. How these...
I was happy to come on Earth.
No, I always have to come on Earth. And one of the things that if it, to be an actress was something that you, from the beginning, you wanted to do. And wow, and if you go on, how you feel now and in response to what you felt when you started being actress.
I think I really needed to play very early on. I would say that I recognized I needed to play to prepare for life, I would say, when I was 4 years old, because school didn't interest me very much. I didn't understand why we had to be in front of a desk, sitting down and not moving around and discovering life. So very early on, suddenly the courtyard in front of the classroom was really where I would birth, and where my imagination was alive, where I could be joyful, where I could create any worlds, because I think the solitude I was feeling was very, very strong as a little girl. First of all, because probably because of circumstances, my parents divorced separated first very early on, and so I had to be in a boarding school at 3 years old. And I think playing was a way of creating a family, creating a place, creating friends, and it was the best time. So it always stayed in me, and I was organizing all sort of directing scenes with my friends, and until my mother took us back home with my sister, and she passed her exams and everything, and then she became a French teacher and a theater teacher. So I was lucky enough to have a mother who was really passionate about acting and directing and arts in general, and my father also was in the theater field. So I would go on tour with him when I was 11 years old with my sister, and we would travel around and prepare for the play to happen. So I was surrounded by the world of theater and the joy of sharing with the public and sharing a family kind of process. So my world was really, my dream was to be a theater actress, not a movie actress, I would say. And then I was in the theater class with my mother, and I was like doing all the male parts, which I found it more interesting than women parts mostly. So played a lot of classical plays, mostly, and Chekhov was really where my heart took, because I think Chekhov has this amazing way of being so simple and so deep and true and alive. So I play all the male Chekhov plays I could possibly play. And then I moved to Paris when I was 15 with my sister. And we were alone together, and the world started for me. I was still at school. I passed my A level, and I did create a theater class in my school, and I directed 2 plays, and I played in them and adapted the text for it. And my passion just took off. I knew what I wanted to do very early on. And I decided at 17 years old to be in the theater. I didn't know whether it was directing or acting. It didn't matter to me. It was just being there alive with other people and creating a world and so, but very early on I had to make a living. So at 18 years old I had no parents to help me. So when I got my exam, I just went to work, and in the evening I was just going through theater classes and really what I learned in those places, in the acting classes, is like acting is like a descending into yourself. And it's not about making things, but it's about a real descending place. And that took me a while to get better and better at it, I think. And suddenly I realized as an actress that confronting a director, confronting a text, confronting a world was really where I was my fire could ignite. And I discovered more and more that these sacred places called art or creation or acting in my case became this kind of need of participating in life, and so I've been very lucky in meeting with great directors who allowed me, by their presence, more than the ideas, because I think the presence of an artist is stronger, for me anyway, than ideas. And so because acting is so physical, it's about incarnation. So how does it become true within yourself? It's a big question. And you don't always have the answer from the head, but it's really, that's why I'm talking about descending, because something takes place in the cells. It takes place first in the cells, and then it goes into your heart, of course, but into your mind as well. So it's relating all those levels that we have as human beings that's been really my passion. And is that all right?
Yeah. Now, one of the, in your career, it's a very singular career, yeah, unique, because you work with such different kind of directors, and I think that from Godard to Leos, from Haneke to Antonio Minghella, all of them, you know, they are completely different the way they work with the actors, and how you are, you know, there are, I think, actors that they have their own way of working, and very difficult, they accept to move. And you, I think you are always trying new experience in acting.
But for me, it's almost all the same. It's probably the same when you have different relationships. You all think it's the same love. And it feels to me that when I open myself, I open myself. That's why I'm talking about the presence of the director, because the more they allow in the way they're seeing or listening or being, the more I'm eager to go in there. So, but at the same time, I think it reverses. The more I go inside of it, the more they're also listening and looking at it in a different way. So there's a moment, it's really like a circle. It's not a pyramidal kind of relationship. It's a circle relationship. It's like a dance. And when you feel that, is no boundary. There's no bad or wrong or right. There's no up and down. It's all the same. It's just a search a search, and it's like a burn as well, because as you're going with takes, it's some kind of fire that gets in move, and that's what I'm looking for. And I think directors I mostly have been working with, they might not put the same words on it, but the actual cooking of it is something you can't put words on and you can't put your hands on. It's just happening while you're doing it, and it's really, as I'm repeating myself, a descending. You go together inside, and there's I think mostly it happens in silence. The deeper places where I go, I feel like it's a combination of not knowing what's going to happen, and yet during the preparation time you've done all your research, you know everything about the subject, you know, you try your best, you know, you prepare yourself totally, but while you're delivering it, you're giving it, you don't know exactly what's going to happen, and that's the magic of it. And I think when the director is also in that kind of position, he doesn't know, then there's that's where creation together can happen. And that's why it's so magical, because I could have chosen to be a painter in sort of my, you know, studio alone, but I chose to be an actor because I wanted to be with the others. I found it more daring in a way, more difficult too, because you're not alone, but more daring also because I think acting is very feminine, actually, and the fact that mostly directors are men, I think it's, as a woman, is, I mean, I'm not a sexist at all. I've been, you know, raised by a feminist, so it's not that, but I feel in the connection between man and woman and being seen and heard, there's something as having the opponent, the other side, the complement, but as well as the opposite. It just allows me to give something different, and that's a love process. That's why there's always a kind of seduction, even though you don't end up in the bed with the director or an actress, but there's still some kind of seduction that is at the top of creation, and it's beyond sex, but it's totally sexual as well. So that's the combination that I find it fascinating as well. Yeah.
One thing I think now that you are much more free to make what we can say the first step. You know, you want sometimes to work with such director and everything. I think it's different than it was in the beginning. Now you are much more, we have that freedom and that thing to go, and you try to make the first step. It's changing something.
Yeah, it's true that before, as a young actress, I was very obedient. I wanted to be good. I wanted to be loved. I wanted a father. I wanted to be seen, recognized. And after a while, it's not sufficient. It's not enough. So, and also going through a period of time of very difficult shooting, suddenly it makes you see life differently. And as when I was choosing films, I was always related to myself. After a while, you let go, or you're using yourself, of course, but it's the purpose is different in a way. You don't have to heal in the same way. And now it's true that I've been approaching a lot of directors because I think life is too short, and you've got to take action. I think life is about also taking actions and choosing the life you want to live, and not being passive, because the passivity of actors sometimes, I find it very sad in a way. And, you know, doing the same thing over and over, for me, is not creation. You have to go to the new. And what is the new? I don't know, but I want to tempt it. And of course, there are directors I'm attracted to because I think they're like Bruno Dumont. His films are so special. Sokurov also, he's so special. He has his world, and I think they're very precious people. And I feel like life is too short. I'm almost dead, and I don't want to die before doing some more films.
You because you came through I don't know how you feel it now, this experience, so to give to your, a lot of time to someone and to a film like Les Amants du Pont-Neuf that was so difficult to go through, and your energy, that have, in a way, from outside, you have this feeling that without this kind of almost rage, that the film will never exist. And it's something that I never saw an actor make what you made on that period with your work with Carax. And this is something I think we cannot do again, but I think it's something that marked really.
I was not the only one to make it happen. Denis Lavant as well. And there was a producer as well who was very active, and Jean-Yves Escoffier, who's the DP, was very, very eager to finish the film as well. But I think I'm a kind of a weird producer kind of actress. And you know that. Because I think, I have some kind of an envision of some, ideas, and whether it is happening with me or not, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But I feel like when there's an intuition, you have to express it and go forward. At the same time, I'd like to be more kind of also coming from outside. To me, I feel like I'm like an engine working by myself. But it's been a passion. When you have ideas. Lately, 2 years ago, actually, I had an idea. I was wondering. It was about women, really, and I thought, who can I give it to? And then I thought of, Olivier Assayas. I worked with him. I was so frustrated working with him. I felt he had no connection with actors and no connection with me. And I felt really kind of pissed off with him. So I said, okay, I'm going to propose him then. And so I called him and I said, what do you think of that idea? I provoked him. I said, I'd like you to go further, with women. And he said, well, let me think about it for 2 weeks. I'll come back to you and we'll see whether it works or not. And then 2 weeks after, he was kind of, okay, I think I have something here. And then a year and a half after, he wrote the script and we shot. We stopped shooting a month ago. And while we were shooting, I was just thinking, I'm just living my dream. Because he's really daring it. He's been writing for women. He's been like beyond what I expected. And it gives me so much satisfaction. Because it's like, I think directors see in actors, but I think actors can see as well in directors, and so we can grow together. It's not only on one side.
And one thing, once 3 or 4 years, a little bit more, you accept less projects and you dedicate much more to the dance, to the painting, to the even to the readings theater. You just made the readings with John Berger in Avignon, all of this. And it was, you made it like to stop a little bit, or it was just a moment of your life, or you go on with all these projects and everything?
No, I never stop. I don't think, I'm stopping. It's just that it just happened that I was being massaged by a woman. She said to me, do you want to dance? And I said, yes. And she actually is the wife of a dance producer, and so I met with Akram Khan, and then he said, "Do you want to try 2 days in the studio, see if we would work together?" And I did, and then we said, "Okay, let's get an appointment for in 2 years, and we do a dance show together and co-creation," and that's what we did 2 years after. Yeah, for 2 years. Yeah, it was crazy, but. I wouldn't do it again because it's so hard, but now I'm aware what dance to do and how difficult it is. But movement has always been a fascination for me because I think because as an actor, you know, you're going through emotions and there's always movement in emotion. You can feel some kind of immobility, something so stable inside you, but from this there's a lot of movements, and that's always been a fascination for me. And it's the same with painting. I always like starting with the eyes because there's this kind of immobile place in a way. It's the inside of the brain, in a way, of the heart, and from there everything is being created. But in acting, the movement also is that's why silence and being so still allows any movement. And for me, it's like a birth each time, like when there's a take. For a film, there's always a birth and a death as well, especially when we change shot. And that's always a sort of a fascination for me because this place belongs to another time, another space, and that's what I like about it, because it's you use your experience of life, but it's actually getting into the core of a specific moment, specific place that you can share with others. And I don't know, I mean, it's probably creation, right? It's creation, and I'm bored being a creature. I want to be a creator.
And talking about this, you never, you know, some of fantastic films are made by actors or actresses. You never thought in coming the other side of the camera or do you think that should be possible one day to do it?
It should be possible, but you have to be so in tune of what you want to say, because you're using 2 hours of people's life. I feel so much for that, you know, that it really depends what you want to put together. I mean, of course, I have ideas and stuff, but also I've never been really frustrated as an actor with a director, because I think the creation happens together with others. So I don't feel frustrated about it. But at the same time, I think you have to have the courage also to go into another field. And it probably will come. But if I die, I'm okay. But I would like to try.